Hi guys, we are back again. I'm Jack Sparrow, he's Peter Parker and Harry Potter.
Hey mates.
Hello.
Okay, today we're going to talk about the review for the last week's EPL games. Okay, let's not waste time and first up we are going to talk about Bournemouth versus Manchester United. The score was 2-1. How well was Bournemouth performing? Peter?
For me, I think Bournemouth actually played very well, and actually very impressed with them for this season because their players is not really very high quality or big name players, but they always perform well. And in this game, they really had a lot of chance, just that they didn't take their chances lah.
For me, Bournemouth played a very good game. They actually have a game plan compared to other teams. They have a blueprint they actually follow. Last time they were just possession based, and right now they are possession based with quick attacking football. They have a lot of forward passes, especially with forward runners like Wilson, even the injured players like King, and even Brooks. The I think if I'm not,
Yeah.
is Welsh. He's a very good player. So with that players, they is very quick and very fast movement up front is very threatening.
For me, I think Bournemouth did what they had to do and I think maybe it's against a big team. They were nearly there. Actually, they were going for a draw, in my opinion, and Manchester United had a hard time to keep up with them. Next, was it a lucky win for Manchester United? The last minute scorer from Rashford and all? Harry, what do you think?
I think it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was lucky, but and especially in the second half, we deserved the win. Especially with the way we attacked and the way we moved the ball forward. But to be fair, the fair result should have been a draw because Bournemouth played equally well. But what I think it wasn't lucky, but we like it's just that our perseverance paid off in the end.
Peter?
For me, I think in away games you have to be lucky to win because in away games in EPL it's always very tough. So getting a last minute winner is just part of the game. So it's not like Menu was so bad or Bournemouth was so good. In away matches, the key thing to look for is having the grit and having the drive to push on to get a last minute winner and not just sitting for a draw.
For me, I think Manchester United did play very well on the second half. As usual, this season they are the comeback kings. Don't know how many comebacks they have made, and they never lost their fighting spirit. They always keep up to the expectations of Mourinho and the fans. Next, Marshall. What do you all think? It's his best form, in my opinion. He's having his great form with the goals and assists he's given. His playing style, his communication with the team is very marvelous. What do you all think?
For me, I personally feel it's actually no difference from what we saw a few seasons ago. He has been the same Marshall, just that right now he's been more deadly. I wouldn't say that this is his best form. It's just that right now he has gotten more runs of game, the trust of Mourinho, so he's able to perform. So I expect more from him because we all know what he's capable of. Yes, he's one of our best players, and if not for the rest, he's actually the best player in Manchester United right now in terms of form. So other than that, I expect more from him. It's not a pressure; it's just that what he's capable of doing.
For me, I think now the team is kind of built around Marshall. Marshall is like becoming the main man for Manchester United, and this gives Mourinho and Manchester United a lot of advantages. In the previous times, during the early part of Mourinho management, he really give Marshall a hard time. I think it's just to test him, but after Marshall come out of it stronger, now I think it's performing very well and showing his best form in his Manchester United career.
It's just that quite fascinating where the two players you were hard on at the start, especially Luke Shaw and Marshall, are right now the two best performers in Manchester United. So maybe Pogba can learn something from that because he has been poor for the past few games. It's not in terms of assists, yes, he's having assists, and in terms of goal scoring, he's scoring because of the penalties. But I expect more from him. I expect him to dominate games. So maybe he should just listen to the manager right now because people thinking that Mourinho is a defensive coach, but he's the one who made Luke Shaw and Anthony Marshall play the way they are playing right now.
Very true. Let's talk about Arsenal versus Liverpool. The score was 1-1. Arsenal having a very bad record against team. I think the first two games they lost to Chelsea and Manchester City. Against big team, how did they play against Liverpool? Your views, Peter? Liverpool
For
fan?
me, I think they really played well. In the past, Arsenal in big games they kind of crumble. They kind of do not show the drive and determination, and they do not really play with a lot of aggressiveness. But this Arsenal played with a lot of aggressiveness. It kind of reminded me of the old Liverpool side, the first side that Liverpool made from Jurgen Klopp, the one that played ultra attacking football and press all the way. This reminded me of that, and it was a surprise to see Arsenal having that type of quality.
For me, I think Arsenal really fed. They actually played a very good game. The momentum is right now with them because after losing the first two games, they have not dropped points unnecessarily, in my opinion. Because maybe it's Unai Emery's passion, or it's he putting the right players at the right place, or even if it's the right signings. I feel signings have played a big part in this transfer window where he got Torreira, who's their crucial key man. He was the engine against Liverpool, and he was always there breaking up for, passes to the front three. And we have to also mention Granit Xhaka. He played an excellent game that day. I've been harsh on him for the past few seasons. I don't rate him as a very good footballer, but that performance there showed me why Arsenal fans actually think that he is the one of the best midfielders. But he has to be consistent, and if he's consistent, really, him, Torreira, and Ozil were brilliant in the middle of the park. And I've also been harsh on Ozil's work rate, but that game he really played to his hearts out.
For me, I think Arsenal did play well, and Liverpool had a lot of chances for scoring more goals. I think if they hit the post a lot of times. They had a lot of shots on target and deadly attacks. But I think I really thought it's a draw for the game. So yeah, next we're going to talk about Emery's confidence on Lacazette. He scored the equalizing goal for the game, and what do you all think? Is he really convincing, Emery? What's expected? Is he bringing out?
For me, I think the way he managed the situation with Lacazette and Aubameyang is a very good way to handle, because at the start people were wondering, especially during the January of early part of this last season, sorry, when they bought Aubameyang, a lot of people were thinking Lacazette is gonna be slowly sold or slowly taken out of the team, and Aubameyang being the main man. But the way Unai Emery managed both of the players, where they play in certain games they play two up front with Aubameyang on the left, and certain games Lacazette being the main man or being a crucial super sub. I think that really helped Lacazette and helped Arsenal as a whole, because if he comes as a super sub, he has a point to prove, and if he performs well, Unai Emery puts him in the first 11, and usually he scores or plays a crucial part in the game. So Lacazette is a key player, and Lacazette is in a very good vein of form, and it's all down to Unai Emery's man management.
I feel I've always rated Lacazette as a very good striker. He's a very good poacher, especially in front of the box. He is very clinical, in my opinion. What I personally feel is, I won't say he have convinced Emery, because I think Emery knew what he was coming, what he was taking over. Arsene Wenger didn't make full use of his potential. That's why I would say 60 minutes he took him out. But that's when Lacazette is very crucial in the 60 minutes. So it's just Emery's style of football which has suited Lacazette, one, first of all. And secondly, players around him, they have improved. Like Ozil have improved so much from last season. Torreira is an improvement on what's the El Neni. Xhaka has improved. Even his back four right now, they look more aggressive. They are more up on the start. So that helps the attackers, in my opinion. So I won't say he has convinced Emery because of his talent, because I think Lacazette or and even Emery knew what he was expecting from Lacazette. So I beg to differ from what you said, but he's a very good player in my opinion.
For me, I think Lacazette is providing his best, what he can do for Arsenal. He is doing what he has to do, and I think slowly he will catch up with more. He will impress everyone in the league. Next, talking about Liverpool, when is their winning streak going to end, and who's going to break it, man?
Okay, because this is just taken 2 days before Liverpool lost in the Champions League. So I think, especially in the last few games, they did not really perform well. It finally showed in the UEFA Champions League when they lost against Red Star Belgrade. In the EPL, I think they would not really lose, and I think the moment they will lose is maybe the next time they versus a big team, maybe someone like Manchester United, because Jose Mourinho always has a plan to stop Liverpool and the way they play. So I know they have not been impressive as in all competitions, Liverpool, but in EPL, as far or as long as they stay around the top for the first half of the season, I think the second half of the season they will shine through. I think it's more of Klopp's plan to play more defensive, and because in the past a lot of people accuse him of playing ultra attacking, going gung ho, and the second half of the season they usually slow down or do not have enough energy. So I think this season he made a conscious effort and played more defensive so that second half of the season he can push on. So first half of the season the main thing is to just be around the top one or top two, first or second place or third place with just a few points difference between him and the top position. Most likely is Man City. Then second half of the season try to catch them and eventually get the title.
I personally feel that in the next few games they're gonna be beaten. So because they don't have the depth of the Invisibles which we saw a decade ago. So I personally feel that they have good players. I'm not saying they don't, but it's totally a different ball game. Anyone can beat anyone this season. So even I won't be surprised if they lose in the next game against Fulham.
I mean, I think they are having a good squad, and with games coming up like Champions League, in between Carling and FA Cup or whatsoever, I think it will be difficult for the players because they are going to keep on playing the same players without rest, and I think they have a chance of losing their game in one of the next matches. So yeah, next we're going to talk about the big scoring game of the week: Man City versus Southampton. Okay, let's talk about Southampton first. Will Southampton's form? I think they had 4 draws and 4 losses. I think in 8 games they haven't got a good win. What do you think about it? Will it lead to their downfall, relegation?
I think they are looking bad as a unit. So it's not about the current form. They have the quality to actually push. They are better than certain teams, but just that they don't have the unity among them. So what I personally feel is they should, if they don't get a win in the next few matches, then something's going to be wrong. They're going to be in the relegation zone fighting for it. Or if I'm not wrong, are they even in the relegation zone now?
I think they are
Slightly.
16 or 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, nearly there.
So it's going to be very tough for them, and I honestly don't give a damn about them because I don't rate them as a team because they don't play as a team. They are just individuals trying to do here and there. So yeah.
For me, I think it's all down to one person. It's because of the manager, Mark Hughes. Because I think I'm not really sure how he even got the Southampton job. Because before Southampton, if I'm not wrong, he was at Stoke and he kind of made Stoke into made Stoke relegated. So I don't know how he even got a job at Southampton because he have all the quality players. He has a Gabbiadini, he has Danny Ings, he has Ryan Bertrand, he has Lemina, a lot of quality players. A team that like Southampton shouldn't even be in the relegation battle. They should be
Top half finish.
top half with Everton or Leicester, around that region, around 8, 9, 10 region. So if they are in relegation form or if they are going to get relegated, the best thing for Southampton board to do is to get rid of the manager and get someone more stable. Even someone like Sam Allardyce would be good.
I think
Just
even
to-
like someone like David Moyes would be great because he will get the unity earlier than later.
if they keep Mark Hughes for long and do not sack him, I think it's like very sure that they will get relegated.
For me, I think this will really lead them to the relegation, and I think I won't be surprised if the manager is sacked also, like what you said. I agree on that. So let's hope for the best for them. And next, we are going to talk about Man City 6-1. Do you all think Man City players overpowered, or is it Guardiola's tactics that make them look so good with their play.
Uh,
Fuck this shit. What kind of tactics can Guardiola implement? Like, if I have my 11 best players and my reserves are even better than my players who are playing, then what the fuck? I don't even have to put any tactics. I can just tell them to go out and play. Like, it's like, you have Messi and Ronaldo, then Ronaldo is on the bench, then Messi is not performing, then you just sub Ronaldo in, then he will score for you. Then it's the same. What kind of bullshit is this? There's no fucking tactics involved in this stupid Guardiola system. What does he do? He plays out from the back, he pumps the ball up front, he lets Aguero, Bernardo Silva, Raheem Sterling chase, and then they do something at the front. I mean, if I to be honest, if I have the disposal of the players he have, I will be better than him. I will be winning the Champions League. Yeah.
What do you think?
for me, I think the question you asked, is the team overpowered? Yes, it's overpowered, and because of the money that Pep Guardiola used. I think if you realize when he came in, he took out Gail Clichy, Sagna, Zabaleta, and Kolarov all in one season, and he bought three fullbacks: Mendy, Walker, and Danilo. Like, I don't see any other team that can afford to do that. But Pep Guardiola can do that because of the money, and he already had Kevin De Bruyne. He had Brazil's wonder kid in Jesus, German's wonder kid Sane, Portuguese wonder kid in Bernardo Silva, and he had Aguero, and he had Sterling. So it's it's
Yeah, David Silva.
he had David
David
Silva,
Silva.
he had Fernandinho, he had company.
Gundogan.
He had so many quality players. They should win every game in a very big scoreline. If they do not win in a big scoreline, that is when people should criticize him, because the team he has, they should kind of win every trophy that they challenge for.
No,
So
it's
not,
like if you put two Man City team in the EPL, they both will be champions because that's how good his first team and his second team is.
yes, I
Like,
agree.
yeah,
Pep Guardiola the way he manages is just buy quality players and just put them and ask them to play. It's not really any tactics involved, because okay, I would appreciate if he buys a squad player just to fill in the gap, but he doesn't do that. He buys
he bought
all
Riyad
quality
Mahrez
players.
because he wants a replacement for Sane and Sterling. But in my opinion, if as a Manchester United fan, we don't buy Toni Kroos to replace Paul Pogba when he's the one. We buy a player like Fred, or we have players like Ender Herrera who is not really world class, but they can do a job. But if for me, in my opinion, if David Silva doesn't perform, then next up you have Bernardo Silva. If he doesn't perform, then next up you have Riyad Mahrez. If you don't perform, you have Sterling. Maybe they still don't perform, you still have Kevin De Bruyne. So this is just the checkbook talking. So yeah,
Yes, and the point you said, Riyad Mahrez. If other team, they would have used the youngster that they have, Jadon Sancho. He was like tearing it up in Dortmund, and if any other manager, they would have used that youngster. But Pep Guardiola insisted on buying a player in Riyad Mahrez who can easily be a starting 11 player for any of the top European teams, and he's kind of becoming a bench player, a player who is a big part player for Man City.
rotation.
Yeah, rotation player. So I think it's not really Pep Guardiola genius tactics. It's just he's buying top quality players, and if you have top quality players, almost all the time you will win trophies and win all the matches.
I agree on that. I think so. The conclusion is Man City players are overpowered. So Gorilla has nothing to do with that. And next, we're going to talk about who is going to break Man City's winning runs.
I will answer you this in the preview show.
All right, Peter.
For me, yeah, I'll work on that. Work on what he said, and I think the next match, it would be a key match. I'm not sure if it would be a loss for Man City, but I think it would be a big game, and it can be a game where they lose a couple of points, because I think Manchester United and Manchester City is like it's a game that involves a lot of emotion. So anything can happen, and I really hope Manchester United does something in that match.
All right, we'll be back for our preview very shortly. Hi guys, now we are going to talk the preview for this week. Firstly, we're going to talk about Liverpool versus Fulham. What do you think about the key players for this game?
For me, I think the key players is Mane and Salah because they had a very bad game against Red Star. So I think they need to have a solid performance. So I think both Salah and Mane should be involved in all the assists and all the goals for this upcoming match.
I think for me, for Liverpool, it's going to be Milner because he's very crucial for Liverpool's breaking up of play. And then for Fulham, it's going to be Mitrovic because his physicality, his robustness is going to cause a lot of trouble for Van Dijk. I hope so.
For me, I think for Liverpool, it's going to be Mane. I think it's just one game he's out of form and he's going to be back. For Fulham, like what he said, it's going to be Mitrovic. He's going to score the 1 or 2 goals against them to break their momentum. Next, for the lineup and predictions, what do you think, Liverpool fan?
I think the lineup will be the same like how it was in the Champions League. Maybe taking out Sturridge and putting Firmino. And for Fulham, I think they always have a problem with their defense. They do not have a solid back four. So I think they should have some consistency and have the same back four to kind of try to create an upset. And for prediction, I think it would be a 3-2 victory for Liverpool.
I think for the lineup, it's going to be the same what they usually play, the 4-3-3 with that. But instead of Sturridge, Firmino is going to come in. And then did Trent Arnold play on the game against Red Star?
Yeah, he played, but he came out from the first half. He came out.
So high chance, I think Joe Gomez will play, and the center is going to be Lovren and Van Dijk. So that's what's going to happen. Then for Fulham, yeah, like what Peter Barker said, the defense is always a problem. Timo Fosu-Mensah actually scored an own goal the previous game, but he actually had a very good performances for his team. So I reckon he will keep the place. And then it's going to be Seri holding the team in the midfield, and up front it's going to be Mitrovic and Schürrle on the left. It's going to be very breathtaking if they can get the gameplay right. Then for predictions wise, I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw.
For me, I think the key players for the game and the lineup is going to be total different thing. I think Chakri is going to start for Liverpool and Sessegnon will be the key player as they are going to be very defensive for Fulham. So for the prediction, I think it's going to be a 2-1 or 2-2 draw for the game.
2-1 for?
2-1 for Fulham.
Okay.
Please be more precise. Thank you.
Alright, sorry man. Okay, next we're going to talk about Chelsea versus Everton. For the key players on my opponent, Hazard is back. He's going to show what his absence has cost. And yes, for Everton, it's going to be Walcott as a key player. What do you think?
I think for key player for Everton, it's going to be Yerry Mina if he plays, because he and Kurtzuma can form a very good partnership in the back, which Everton needs because they usually concede very goals and it's very hard for them to because they have always been chasing the game. Then for Chelsea, it's going to be I won't say Eden Hazard. I think it's going to be Morata because he has had a very good game in the last game around. Even the Champions League, he had a very even the Europa League is going to have a very good game, especially with Sarri style suiting his possession base, which suits all the Spanish players. So these two players are going to be crucial for their team.
For me, I think for Chelsea, it's Morata. Like I agree with what you said because he's in good form in the past few games. In the start of the season, people were saying that he was not tough enough. He doesn't have the roughness. People always compare him to Diego Costa, but now Morata is slowly getting into the gameplay. He's kind of being like the finishing piece to Chelsea's attack instead of playing like a pressing number 9. He's kind of staying in the box and just finishing off all the chances that's being created. So I think that's the key player for Chelsea. And for Everton, it has to be Richarlison because if he plays well, Everton plays well. If he doesn't play well, then Everton most likely would lose.
Next, we're going to talk about the lineup and predictions. On my view, I think for the lineup for Chelsea is going to be they're going to rotate their players, and most likely I feel Giroud is going to start off for the game instead of Morata. For Everton, it's going to be the same lineup as usual. Their main players are going to be in the field. For predictions wise, I think it's going to be a 3-1 for Chelsea. What do you think, Harry Potter?
I think for lineup wise, these two teams don't change their formation. They don't change their 11 that much. So I don't see anything else happening other than Hazard coming in for Willian. Then on the other side, Everton is going to go out in the same squad. Maybe Bernard might be dropped. That's all I would know. But it seems like the coach loves Bernard, so it's a tough choice. And for prediction wise, I think it's going to be a 2-0 for Chelsea.
For me, I think the formation is like what you said. The more is because they don't really rotate their team, especially Sari, the back four, and Kante, Jorginho. Maybe the only change is maybe
Kovacic,
between Kovacic and Barkley.
But Barkley is on form, so high chance that Barkley will be the one starting.
Yeah. So other than that, I think it's more of the same from both of the team, and I think the prediction it would be a 2-1 victory for Everton because Everton has not been performing that well against the big teams. So I think they are due to have a big performance against a big team, and it would be a very good way to the Everton's new manager Marco Silva to get the crowd and give more confidence to the crowd by giving a upset victory to Everton and destroying their undefeated streak.
Alright, lastly, we're going to talk about the big game of the week. It's the derby game, Man City versus Manchester United. What do you all think? Who's going to be the key player? Harry Potter?
For me, the key player for Man City is going to be Aguero because he is just deadly anywhere around the box. He's just too good to be handled. And with Manchester United defense being very leaky, he's going to pounce on the chances. So he's going to be very crucial. And then for Manchester United, it's very tough. I think it's going to be Paul Pogba because we all saw what he could do the last game again at the Etihad when Paul Pogba turned the game with alongside Alexis Sanchez. They were both too unplayable. So I hope they go on the front foot because if you go and counter pressure, soak the pressure for Man City, you're most likely going to score. I hope they go up and press because we all saw that they can't play against a pressing system. So that's what I hope. And Pogba and maybe Rashford himself, these two can be the key players for Manchester United.
For me, I think there are too many key players in this game because the defense of Smalling, Lindelof, Ashley Young, and Laporte, Stones, anyone can have a very good game and anyone can have a very bad game. And that one thing can change the whole complexion of the game. So it's that big of a game. So I think it's more on the emotional side of it instead of the technicality of the players because it's the derby and there's a lot of rivalry and the media has spin the story that Man City is playing very good football and Manchester United is playing terrible football. So I think it would be a very high pace, a lot of flying tackles in, and I think the way for Manchester United to cause an upset is to kind of get into their faces, kind of slow the game down, getting some fouls and making Man City irritated. By doing that, I think Man City will be off their usual game and that can make Manchester United as a whole get a win.
For me, I think the key player is going to be Sterling for Man City. As you can see, he's at his form and the players are they gel up together very well. As for Manchester United, they're having a good game for the past few games. And yes, like what he said, I think it's going to be Pogba. He's going to play make for the game. I think if he plays well, I think the whole team will be able to hold them up. And next, we're going to talk about the lineup and predictions for this game. I personally think the lineup is going to be surely it's going to be defensive in the first half, and second half they're going to throw at Man City whatever they've got. For the score prediction, I think it's going to be a 2-1 for Manchester United?
I think for me the lineup is going to be very straightforward. It's going to be the 4-3-3, and then Man City holding most of the possession in our half, and then we're going to counter break in the later stages of the game. Then if everything goes wrong, then we have the Lord Fellaini to come in and help us. And then because it's going to be a different direct football to him. But at the start, I want him to start with Alexis Sanchez, Martial, and Rashford because it's going to press them even higher. And I hope Ander Herrera and Fred and Pogba plays in this game because we need Fred's speed and quickness to close people down, and we need Pogba's technicality and Ander Herrera's shithousery because Ander Herrera is an asshole to play against. He will come at you, he will act like he gets slapped and all that. So I want Ander Herrera to be the holding midfielder. Then Matic can have a rest because even though I think Matic will start, I hope it not. Then for predictions wise, it's going to be a 1-0 victory for Manchester United.
For me, I think the lineup is for Man City. It's hard to tell because they always change their players and they have too many players to choose from. For Manchester United, like what he said, I think having runners in the midfield is important. So, like how Liverpool usually play against Man City, they kind of have runners, have hard-working players in the midfield, and that makes Man City kind of lose the ball. I think having Herrera, Fred to win the ball and pass to a quality player like Pogba to start off the counter attack, and then the front three doing some damage like how Liverpool do with Salah, Mane and Firmino. I think that's the way for Manchester United to win. Yeah.
So the score prediction?
Score prediction, I think it would be, I hope it would be a 2-0 victory for Manchester United.
Alright, I think Manchester is going to break the winning streak of Manchester City this week. So yes, we have come to the end of our review and preview show. So please do like, subscribe and share because we are having our very last videos. I think you'll be fucking around the whole week, maybe. So yes, till then, we'll be back again very soon. Take care, pussy eaters. I'm Jack Sparrow.
I'm Harry Potter.
And Peter Parker.
Bye, Max.
Bye.
Bye, Max.